Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Lilith. With Lilith, whenever I see her in a daily run, especially when the run goes to Mom, I know that it was probably not gonna be the best of dailies. And what I really like, or not like, dislike about Lilith is the fact that a lot of the items that you pick up kind of work negatively with her, and not even necessarily very directly negatively. I like whenever you have to make a decision. Do I pick up this item because it might have a negative effect on me, so something like the guillotine, but the benefits maybe outweigh the risks that I get by picking up it in the first place? And of course, with Lilith, I would say that a lot of that doesn't even really come into effect. With her, it's more like you see a familiar, you can decide to pick it up. Usually there's no reason not to pick up a familiar, but you know every familiar that you pick up will just delay that inevitable good familiar that you're gonna get, and because of that you're not gonna be able to aim properly, because familiars stack in a line, and when you pick up Little Brimstone, for example, you want it to be as far, or at least as near to you as possible, because if it's somewhere down the line, like the 5th or the 6th familiar, you're just not gonna hit anything with him. And it's a real bummer, because I think that not only did I talk about this in my previous episodes, that Lilith is a familiar-based character and you still have to watch out which familiars you pick up, but it's not just that, it's even other items like shot speed. The screw, I would usually be very happy to see the screw, because not only does it give you a tear upgrade, it also gives you a range upgrade, also shot speed upgrade, and I would say all of those are okay in moderation. Obviously, tear upgrades and range upgrades are just always good, but shot speed upgrades, I would say that when you can get 1 or 2, maybe, it's okay, but in all other cases, maybe it's a bit too much. But with Lilith, you even think about, is it worth it to pick up this item? If you're gonna be finding enemies that are stuck behind the rocks, or maybe just stuck in a very nasty room, and if you shoot them with a high shot speed, you're just gonna be knocking them around, they're gonna bounce around the room, it's gonna be so much harder to actually hit them, because when you shoot so fast, they start to move kind of unpredictably, and because every time you will shoot with your regular tears from Incubus, because it's gonna hit on an angle, they're gonna go in a direction where you maybe don't want them to go, and it just makes the whole process a lot more tedious. So you come up to this place, is it even worth it to pick this item up? And usually, of course, it is, because why wouldn't you want to have a tears upgrade? But the shot speed makes it so, even though this is a really good item in most cases, it makes it that this is a relatively annoying item on Lilith, and not even necessarily a bad one. It's the same with familiars. Whenever you see a familiar, I always think, like Ghost Baby in previous example, I only picked it up because I wanted Devil Precedent. And even in that case, I think I would be okay with just not having Devil Precedent at all. I would maybe do a bit of a risky play, try to go full Angel Rooms, but first of all, I didn't have any bombs at that time, which I thought it was gonna be not really worth it to go for Angel Rooms if you can bomb the statues and then kill them, but also, because this run goes only to Mom, I would really want to get as many Devil Deals as possible to maximize my chances of getting the shovel, so I felt like I was in a position where I had to take one or the other Devil Deal item, and I thought because Lilith is this familiar-oriented character, I should pick up Ghost Baby, because not only does it maybe do some additional damage, and maybe I'm not as strong as I thought I would be, but it also goes through walls, and maybe that's something that can come in useful sometimes. And I decided to pick it up, but you have to be really wary, because you want to pick up more than one unnecessary familiar, because later on I might get Little Brimstone. If I have 5 bad familiars first, they're the ones which are actually gonna hit enemies, and Little Brimstone is just gonna be somewhere there backwards, not just even focusing or hitting anyone that you wanted to hit. And it's a bummer, it's really a bummer, because I think that not only are we stuck with Lilith in a position where some of the items which don't really work well with her, but they make her more annoying, but there are also items like familiars which are supposed to work with her, but don't, because you have to be careful that you might get a better familiar down the road. And it's a bummer, because it's one of those decisions that you really can't predict. You might pick up a bad familiar and say, you know, it's a good chance I'm not gonna get a good familiar, but if a good familiar does show up, you're gonna be feeling, you're gonna feel bad because you picked it up in the first place. But if a good familiar doesn't show up and you still picked it up, you still picked up a bad familiar, and it doesn't work in both ways. It's a negative regardless of how you look at it, and I think that's something that should be at least amended to some degree. Not only that, what this run demonstrated, at least to some extent, was that even though you might be in a position where you're dealing enough damage, you really can't let go of Box of Friends. Again, this is something I've talked about in the past, just how vital Box of Friends is to Lilith and how usable it makes her. Picking up any other active item leaves you in this position where not only are you not maybe dealing enough damage, even though we got the guillotine, which is surprisingly one of those items which doesn't really work well with other characters but works really well with Lilith, and I would like that there would be more items like that. Item specifics or at least not specific items, but more general items, which maybe have a downside in some cases, but because of how Lily shoots with her Incubus, picking up a Guillotine only gives you the benefits of it. So you get the damage, you get the Tears Delay upgrade, and you get the Orbital for free, and because you're not shooting from your head, it just makes it just a very, very good item. But regardless, what this run led me to believe in, though, I had some other active items to pick up, so I picked up Undefined, and then later on I found the D6 in the boss rush and then the D4. It's very hard to actually make a decision on what you're going to do with it, because just having one Incubus and one Ghost Baby is enough to kind of deal with rooms, because I still got some damage upgrades, but in most cases, it leaves you stranded for damage and time. You really want to get to those bosses and use the Box of Friends. This is where your offensive punch comes from, so to say, with Lilith. Having to pick Undefined was a decision that I made because I felt like, because this was one of those dailies that goes to Mom, it's very important for me to try and explore every nook and cranny of the floor. So Undefined gives me an allowance to go to maybe treasure rooms without wasting keys. It allows me to go to my arrow rooms, where you can get maybe some of the breaking items, or maybe it allows me to go to secret rooms and second secret rooms, and maybe I can find something there if I don't have enough moms to actually find them on my own. In this case, I would say they didn't really turn out well, because later on I got a blank card, and I fell into the trap of picking it up, and I definitely think it was a mistake. I should have stuck with Undefined, so at least I could then teleport out of Mom after I beat her, and that would allow me to get some more exploration bonus. I really think if I stuck with Undefined here, I would get something like 20,000 points, which still wouldn't be ideal. It still wouldn't be good, as I had quite a bad daily. I'm not really sure if that's just because maybe I made some misplays, maybe I made some bad decisions on my part, but I really felt like I tried my best. I did do everything in my power to actually get to the point I am, and 90,000 points for all of that does feel kind of bad. I did miss quite a lot of rooms because I was trying to make it to boss rush as fast as possible. I didn't find any sacrifice rooms, even though I think I used the world and the sun card on depth 2 and depth 1, and I don't know if there were, and maybe I just missed them, or if they didn't spawn at all. But still, we did finish in the 144th place, which I imagine will fall, especially in the round that goes to as the day goes on. A lot more people actually read about the strategies, and they find that if you use the mystery gift in the devil deal, the last devil deal, you get the shovel, and because of that you can then use it in boss rush to get eventually the entrance to the womb, and then you can break the game that way. I can't be too sad. I'm always excited to play a daily, especially a hard one, and even though this daily maybe wasn't what I expected it to be, at least maybe we talked about something. I think we discussed something, and that's usually what's important. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.